atheist. But during this point of tension, Danny, religion, and love slowly came monotonously short, conflict, anxiety. As a teen, she rebelled and left Judaism behind. By the time she reached her 20s, Danny said her life had become out of control. Done college, by modeling, pursuing a bad relationship, started using drugs, alcohol. He said she felt wrong, far away from her true father. When she was 24, her parents were devastating for her. Her father died 2 weeks later. Her mother was severely injured, shattered in every way. Danny became the mother's caretaker, but they never together quickly. It was precisely this moment that Danny said to her. She felt compelled to make her life meaningful. She got sober, finished school, began writing and teaching, got married, and started a family. She became a best-selling author of 5 non-fiction books and 2 memoirs, Slow Motion, and more recently, Devotion. Despite all her success, Danny still felt the yearning for something more, for something to believe in. At night, she didn't know what to tell her. The religion of her childhood fell apart, and Danny suddenly found herself in the midst of her very own spiritual journey. So this journey really started when your son Jacob, who's now 14, but was a younger boy, and started asking you, what do you believe? Yeah. I know many parents who were raised in either Orthodox, traditional religion or not, question how they're going to now relay that to their children. What do I want my son or daughter to do?
Yeah.
And move it in that space.
Those questions set off an avalanche of feelings and thoughts. And because I knew that my rote answer, my initial rote answer, which was the shortest rote answer, it was, well, some people believe that there's a heaven. Some people believe,
Ralph, hello Ralph, good morning.
And I knew that I was failing.
Glowing
I
then.
knew that I was failing myself too, because I was giving a 6-7-year-old kid, they don't want to try for it. They want to know what their mom believes. And the avalanche that was set off was that I was raised with so much in that way. I was raised with that this is what we believe. You know, there's no two ways about this.
Because you were raised with an Orthodox Jewish mother and an atheist mother.
Yes.
Explain first of all, what does Orthodox mean? I'm going to close it.
Orthodox, in the way that I was raised, was what we term modern Orthodox. So we were Hasidic. My father didn't wear a black hat here, and it was
kosher.
We kept kosher.
2 sinks.
2 sinks, 2 dishwashers. No riding on the Sabbath. No turning on or off lights on the Sabbath. No electricity of any kind. No writing. No homework. No playing the piano.
So you honored the Sabbath.
Completely honored the Sabbath.
And you watched your father do the ritual prayers every day.
Yes, as a little girl, it's actually one of my favorite memories of him. I was sitting in his lap. The devotion, which I really only understood so much later in life. But really in writing about it, I really delved into what was it that was so warm and so, that made me feel so safe.
And so the process of writing devotion came about because you were in search. It was your version of your prayer.
Yes.
Only you didn't leave your own backyard.
Yes.
Devotion is written like a spiritual detective story, with Danny delving deep into the events of her past, searching for clues. She reflects on her parents' car accident and her father's holy God. As she ran away from the God he chose and fell into a drug and alcohol-infused rebellion. It's a story she first shared with her mother in Slow Motion. And in Slow Motion, you find
Ralph,
period.
tapos na po si Sadness.
One of the biggest regrets you say is when your father died, that you were still in that period of rebellion, trying to figure out
it was a great sorrow for me that he died when I was really young, and that was, he died early enough. I believe that my father's death, which was an accident, was such a turning point for me of feeling like if I can't make meaning out of this loss, out of his death, then I'm not even sure what I'm doing. And
Ralph, si Andre naman po yung drawing ko kayo.
And it's one of the reasons why eventually I needed to write that book so much. I needed to write it because I was trying to reconcile to myself how the worst possible thing that happened in my life, my parents' accident, the loss of my father, my mother's injury, how that could turn out to actually be something that would turn my life around. How a terrible thing that I would take back if I could also turn out to be something that ended up.
So your father's death and the way he died in the car accident was an open door for these discoveries for you.
It was a shock, and the shock created like a fissure in me, like a crack that allowed me to wake up.
Which is what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that sometimes it takes tragedy, and it takes crisis, and it takes...
We don't choose what's coming us up.
That's right, we don't choose what's happening. But you need to do that.
Yeah.
Coming up. So all of that rebelling, was it rebelling against your parents, rebelling against God? Danny gets to the root of the rebellion. Plus, not full spiritual food for yourself. From Super Souls. What advice do you give to those who want this inner journey? How should we open ourselves to it? Super Soul Family. We'll be back. As you pulled away from today's open, you said that you rebelled with illusions. What did that look like?
Oh, we looked up rebellion for that dictionary. There would have been.
You started first by eating bacon.
Oh yeah. Bacon started in high school. All my other friends were doing slightly more interesting things than the words I was eating bacon. But I'm not really.
That's Orthodox used to make so what's going with bacon?
Right. Yeah. Bacon, shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I went to college, and I left high school a year early. I was kind of hell-bent on getting out of Dodge, and I was about as well equipped to be on my own in college. Other people had been raised was not really protected, positive, but other people were doing things other than eating bacon.
Yeah.
And
You lost your mind a little bit.
I lost my mind a little bit, and I had no sense of my identity, myself, my worth. I felt like
It had all been defined for you.
Yeah.
You had to fit into this box, and if you don't, then you
Yeah.
don't know who you are.
Yeah, but the rebelling, I think, has to do with really not knowing myself, not knowing, just big my guts, not knowing what I was capable of, no idea, no idea of what I might offer anyone else that's all.
For decades, Danny felt a guru. She searched for meaning, dabbling in everything from Buddhism to yoga, meditation, looking for answers to the spiritual questions that haunted her. So let's talk about this process, because I think so many people are, or have been where you are in the search for themselves. So what, having still being in the journey, in the seeking phase for yourself, what advice do you give to those who want to know, who want this inner journey? How should we open ourselves to it?
First thing that I would say is that one of the things that stopped me, the first thing that stopped me was permission. The first thing that stopped me was, what right do I have? I'm not a religious scholar. I'm going against the way that I was raised. I'm a woman. At a time. What right do I have? So, step one was just the idea of this is important. which is important. They
Ralph, yung magkasitahan naman din gawin niyo po.
so that
Oo, gusto ko na siyang matapos para
and also
meron akong bagong iniisip na graphite naman.
really believe is what I really believe. But I put what I really believe kind of on a shelf because it was too painful to try to grapple with it. It was too painful to pull it off the shelf and really say. But at the time, you didn't even know what you believed. I didn't know what I believed. I didn't really believe. No, I shelved the question. I retired the question. And as far as I was concerned, that question had stayed retired and might have until my son Jacob started out.
So, I'm finishing this charcoal pencil drawing. I'm using 3 grades of charcoal. I have my lightest, the 2B, and then what I'm using right now is the 4B. And then for my darkest shadow, I use the 6B.
Is that I have felt, because I've been told what to do, I felt
Tammy
that it wasn't okay.
Macintosh. How well timed. I am starting my first human charcoal portrait tomorrow. Oh, I draw animals.
We're seeking easy answers, but cherry picking, like a little bit here, a little bit there.
To begin to define for yourself, for ourselves, maybe there's another way in.
Yes.
Maybe there's another way in. It's like,
So I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning into this state of this existential panic.
and I want to hear how you answer this English. What do you think is poetry to you? Using the hashtag, I believe it. You let me know. Could you read the passage from page 9? I think that really illustrates where you were and why this book's happened. And also where so many other people are in your life.
I had reached the middle of my life and knew less than I ever had before. Michael, Jacob, and I lived on top of a hill, surrounded by oak trees, a vegetable garden, stone walls. From the outside, things looked pretty good. But deep down inside myself, I had begun to quietly fall apart. Nights I quivered in the darkness, like a wounded animal. Some sleep was very long, but I didn't know what it was. Nothing, absolutely nothing I could put my finger on was the matter. Except that I was often on the verge of tears. Except that it seemed that there had to be more than is occupied with me every day. Inside each joy was a hard kernel of sadness, as if I was always preparing myself for impending loss.
Heart full of sadness. What is it that you think that doesn't allow some people to feel and embrace fully the joy in their lives? Because there's always this feeling that even though it's going on right now, really
Nugget. OMG, so good. I wish to draw this good. Nugget. Thank you, Nugget. I definitely can say that everyone can be good with, enough practice and determination to learn different techniques.
the other several problems are going to come.
They will.
They are going to come.
Right. The other shoe will drop.
Yeah.
And so the idea that for me so much the desire to be able to embrace the joy and thrive be able to feel it fully without the I think the hard part of the sadness comes from leaning back to the past, being frightened about the future, when it's sitting in the present with joy.
How you make skin textures,
Is impossible.
textures, though.
But you know, I really watched this on Sunday and Brene Brown was on, she was sharing so many parents have
Actually, the texture of the paper is helping to achieve a little bit of a texture. Even though I'm blending it with brushes and some other blenders, you can still see the tooth of the paper or the texture of the paper on the skin tone, and I like that. I like that it's not too blended, uh, and yeah, I still want the texture or the tooth of the paper to play as the texture of the skin tone. But there are bigger details or textures that you have to draw with the actual pencil.
have more patience, drink more water. I say that to myself every day. 6 glasses today. I wanted to be someone who not only bought flaxseed oil to help food store, but actually ingested it. And that's because I buy it all the time. I buy
Like shells full of
shells, flaxseed. There was no end to my desire for something good. But is this what I meant?
Good evening. I'm Davis Howard, the Deputy Curator and Peter J. Sharp, Chief Curator at the Collection. Welcome to Cocktails with the Curator. One of the most
Valve, kuya, pag matatapos ko po itong isa na drawing ko, isasend ko sa inyo just like my other drawing. Sige, sige, sige. Para ma-review rin natin siya.
Monumental, sculptural, set against the bright blue sky with this marble balustrade behind him. So absorbed in the weaving of this beautifully foreshortened. He is enveloped in this grey, dark red cloak, and I love the use of, for example, the jewel of his green tunic. Now, when you look at this work, you could easily think that this is an independent work. But this is part of a group of objects that came from a single piece which was dismantled probably at some point in the 16th century. And the brick is divided into gold. 3 other pieces of this collection. All of these works arrived at the brick collection after the death of the founder, after the death of Agatha Brick in 1919. The St. John de Baptiste was acquired in 1936, a year after the museum opened to the public in 1925. The 2 saints against the gold ground at the bottom were acquired instead in 1950, and the small crucifixion arrived at the museum in 1961 as the gift of John P. Rockefeller Jr. Viola Francesca is a fairly rare artist outside of Italy and public collections. The National Gallery of London has 3 great works of art by him, but that is really an exception. And the Frick is therefore very lucky to have 4 works by him in his collection, and we are only one of 4 institutions in the United States, or public institutions, that have works by him. The others in the States are the St. Apollonia, which also came from the Penrose piece and is now in the National Gallery in Washington. The wonderful Madonna and Child with 4 angels, a very late work by Piero at the Clark Art Institute in Williamstown, and the fragment of a fresco showing the mythological figure of Hercules at the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. In 2013, a curatorial fellow of the Frick, Nathaniel Silver, who is now the curator at the Isabel Stewart Gardner in Boston, assembled almost all of the works at the other room. We had every single work by Viola Francesca in the US. The show was called Viola Francesca in America. except from repertories from Boston, which unfortunately couldn't come because of conservation issues. You see here the overlook with the Clark model in the middle, the Quick John on the right. On the left, there was another edition which we'll encounter later in this episode, which is the St. Augustine from Lisbon, which is part of the thing of the St. John. And on one of the other walls of the room, you have the four small paintings, the three on the frame, and Washington. Of course, if you want to know more about Franciscan America, there are a number of lectures and related programming which are on the website. We can go and shows and lectures. You can go to our website. There's plenty of material there. Now, many scholars have worked on the La Francesca, and one of the greatest scholars from the time Renaissance who went to Rome, published on the ground of Piero, and so did two of the giants in the Saxon historical Rome, Kepler and John Perpensi. But very recently, this year, a new book will be of La Francesca has come out by Naftali Israel at the University of Amsterdam. And I've just finished reading this book, and it is very rare to find a book, an art history book, which gives you an altogether new view and new information about an artist as well as Piero. And I recommend all of you to read this book because it is incredibly beautifully written, but also full of fascinating material from Piero. And it is rare for me to find a book that really makes you think of an artist as a different person. So, because of the discussion of Piero today, and Piero III, the cocktail I'm drinking is a cocktail called Saint. This is made out of bourbon, Lillet Blanc, grapefruit juice, lemon juice, and ginger syrup. And I would like to raise a glass to Piero scholars, the many scholars who work on Piero, the Piero III, but in particular to Nathaniel Silver and Naftali Israel. Cheers. Piero La Francesca was born in the Tiber Valley in a small town called Borgo San Sepolcro, probably around 40. This is one of his earliest known works, the Baptism of Christ in London at the National Gallery, and here you already see so much of what Piero was for. This geometrical view of it, where everything is placed in the right place, just so carefully conceived, against this beautifully airy landscape of Piero, which is always a very important feature, the attention to detail which comes from the outlandish works of art, and these statuesque figures, these great, severe, typical Piero figures. It is no surprise that Piero was the most beloved artist of the 20th century, especially by modern artists who look at Piero in a number of ways and copy his Piero.
Into mobile. Hello, Into mobile.
The one that survives almost intact is the stories of the true cross in the Church of San Francesco in Arezzo. And here you see it, obviously the crucifix is an early work, which is placed in the chapel part of the cycle. But you can see that the altar wall, the windows, and to the right, the side walls all have different registers of scenes of the story of the cross. Involving the Constantine and his mother Saint Helena. The flagellation in the gallery in the Duomo, the house, is one of the most well-known and mysterious works. Piero, generations of scholars have written about this work of art. On the left, you of course see the flagellation of Christ in the presence of Pontius Pilate. To the right, instead, these three then towering mental figures, whose identity has been long debated among many theories about who these three figures may or may not be. Again, Naftali Israel, the latest book, comes out with a new proposal, which in many ways is a very reasonable and very convincing proposal. The most famous work that they have, however, is the Resurrection in Borgo San Sepolcro. This was done for the city hall of his birthplace, and it has become one of the great iconic works of Italian art in the 15th century. Piero was also a portraitist, and here I'm showing you some later works, the profile portraits of the Duke Duchess of Urbino, Federico Peltro, and his wife Lisa Sforza, Uffizi of Florence, and they're the most beautiful surviving portraits by Piero. Out of images also survive of Sicily Maltesta or Rimini, and there are probably versions of these monuments inspired by the number of people. Piero is to, even though he was born for this travel a lot of this great traveling artist, and he visited many courts of the rulers of the time. This is another work he made for the Mediterranean family, and you see that you could repeat kneeling as honor to the bottom right, and above you see the Madonna and Child surrounded by 6 saints. They're all set with 4 angels in this incredible architectural setting, and here are the very important thing.
Hi.
Architecture, antiquity,
That
decoration,
looks absolutely amazing. Thank you. Hi.
a number of surviving treatises, surviving manuscripts that shows that it's an interest in perspective, which at that point was a very new discovery of the modern world, but also geometry, mathematics, and a number of related sciences. So here was a very learned artist, and he often plays with prototypal games with the things that you often see as in the great painting or work is seen from a very specific point of view. So is the head of the saint. Piero produced a number of religious paintings, and of course, what we've just seen the proposal is a single image showing the saints, known as a Paula, altarpiece. But previous model of doing this was the polyptych, and that means a series of panels with quite complicated carvingry, which show central image, usually of the Virgin, that someone in Christ or an episode relating to them. In this case, it's the Madonna of Mercy, the Madonna of Concordia, surrounded by 4 saints. You see 2 couples of saints on each side, and then on the sides, smaller saints in the blasters, saints of religious figures above, and on the top part of the altarpiece, the Cimasa, in this case, the crucifixion of Christ. Below, or the Nella, which was the base on which the altarpiece sat, and here you see scenes from the life of Christ. This is the Politica della Misericordia, which Piero painted between 1460 and 1462, around the time of his painting Resurrection of San Sepolcro, and it is painted with 4 specific San Sepolcro. Unfortunately, the making frame doesn't survive. This is a recent reconstruction. It's since been put together in a slightly different way, and what you see is how, in this case, Piero plays with the gold background of the main scene of the polyptych, but then he uses a more naturalistic one in the lower in the middle. The altarpiece that's the focus of this episode comes from another church in San Sepolcro. Piero probably documenting all the great artistic centers of Italy. He's in Rome, he works there for the Pope, he works in Florence, he works in Roma, Naples, but and many of these works unfortunately don't survive. But for this church in his hometown, he is commissioned an altarpiece of the focus of Rome, 1454. This is the church of San Agostino in San Sepolcro, which in 1555 is seeded by the Agostinian to the Pope Clare, the Church of Santa Clara, St. Clare. And it is now not functioning as a church anymore. You can see that it has a number of transformations. This is the exterior, which is active. At the height of the church, the interior, both in terms of the volume of the church and in terms of the shape has changed somewhat. And the reconstruction of it will be a virtual one really today. But for the higher of this church, a man called Angelo di Giovanni di Simone commissions Piero to paint an altarpiece in 1454. Piero, in fact, does not begin the altarpiece until 1468, so he's busy with other commissions, he's traveling, and it's only more than 10 years later that he finally begins the altarpiece. And it's a complicated commission because what Angelo di Giovanni is providing is a ready-made support. Now, one of the most expensive things with a painting of that kind, the paintings in the gold, was the carpentry, the woodwork. And of course, to create a machine of that size, and something that could be made out of wood had to be made with the right material, the right way. It's something that we often don't think about when we're doing works of art in the museum, but it is a very, very important thing. And then stones, including castle, was not for a lot of some of the issues with a number of other colleagues for painting and globally beyond. So So the carpentry already existed, and it's the carpentry of an altar which was originally conceived for the Franciscan Church of San Sepolcro, the Church of San Francisco. It's then substituted with an altar transferred from the Sicilian. That was the first one, the abandoned. The carpentry was based on another piece which still exists, the 14th century one, which is now the high altar of what is now the Cathedral of San Sepolcro. So it's an old structure based on that then gave inheritance in 1454 and suffered in 1468. So in format it would have been quite backward looking, but obviously what came out of the surface is a very different story. And Angelo Di Giovanni Simone, the rich man from San Sepolcro, who continues to work in the church because his brothers and his sister Giovanna sponsor the house of the church. So the St. John the Evangelist comes from this lost altarpiece, which would have been probably dismantled after 1555, after the church was with theirs. It's already described in the 17th century and was membered, and fragments of it are described in the family collection. So it's an altarpiece that probably lasted less than 100 years. The St. John was accompanied by the other ones of the frame, and we have the two small panels with the very ground, showing a nun and a monk. What is interesting is if you remember that Misericordia altarpiece, elliptic, Piero uses gold for the main scenes and he uses naturalistic backgrounds for the predella. Here he does exactly the opposite. The main tier is naturalistic background, the predella is gold, and the side is gold plaster. The woman on the left, the nun, has been identified as Saint Monica, who was the mother of Saint Augustine, the titular saint of the church. The man on the right has traditionally been identified as Saint Ledger, another saint associated with Christina Clothing. But in fact, maybe the blessed Andrews Carpini, who was a local religious figure, who was actually buried in the church in San Agostino in San Sepolcro. Then there is Saint Apollonia, the saint of the altarpiece, this from Washington, who holds flies and a tube in her hands. This very bizarre act relates to her milestone. She was supposedly killed by having burned teeth extracted from her hands by torture she underwent. So she's not surprising people patron saint of dental at this time, February 2, but some years she is proudly displaying the tool of martyrdom. The predella at the bottom had probably, most likely, seeds from the Passion of Christ. The crucifixion is the only one surviving, the other ones are lost. We know from early descriptions from the 17th century that there were three animals which show the flagellation, the deposition, and the resurrection of Christ. And we don't know if originally there were four or five, or something about that, but in fact the crucifixion probably something like that is the only one surviving. In terms of the main tier, the saints on the sides of the central figure, you have to the extreme left.
Ralph, kuya, I have to work with many colors since iba-iba po ang kanilang kulay. Si Joy, ang dami pong ginamit na shades of yellow. Si Sadness, blue. At ngayon si Anger, red. Nakaka-enjoy din naman mag-play ng mga colors pag nag-drawing.
Satan, in this case, this rather bizarre lizard-like creature. And you can see in the background that they're both set against the blue sky, but also that the marble balustrade decorated with porphyry and serpentine precious marbles with a frame of white, dark marble is continuous throughout. And to the right of the St. Michael, you have steps that would have led into the main central panel. To the right of the panel, and again you see the same steps on the bottom back of the frame picture of St. John.
Ralph, pagtapos ko na si Anger, disgust naman.
Which is John. And to the right, you have St. Nicholas of Florentine, a recent Christian saint. So these two sets of four figures surrounding a central image. And here you see a reconstruction that was done in 2013 violet and silver, showing hypothetically where the small saints who would have sat in the pillars. The same with the predella may be a fragment of the central part of the predella, even though there are different suggestions about that, where that would have gone originally. And you see the four saints, St. Michael, John, and Nicholas Tolentino, surrounding an empty central scene, because we don't actually know what was at the center. For sure, the most reasonable suggestion is that it may have been a combination of the religion, but we also don't know what was above the pinnacles in the Shemaza. Marco did well for the theory about the Shemaza was in fact, which makes sense, under the could have been a crucifixion, obviously, because that was in the Medella, but it could have been another symbols. So this one to be still has many parts that are missing. If you have a theological Jesus, that you and this reminds us of the fact that so many of these collectors and altarpieces would have gone out of fashion and would have been effectively cut to pieces and sold as independent works of art. And this is how this single altarpiece for Saxophone is now divided up between Portugal, the United States, Italy, and the UK. So the attempts to bring all this together have been made a number of times by the Sully Museum in Milan, who did an important study of this altarpiece 10 years ago, then by the Great Lunar Exhibition 2014, where we managed to assemble but really there still hasn't been an exhibition that all of it has been seen together, and I very much hope that will be the case at some point in the future. The reconstruction of the church was recently attempted by an Italian scholar, by Giacomo Guazzini, who has very recently this year as well published a book on Sant'Agostino and San Sepolcro and its decoration in the 14th and 15th century. And this is a visual reconstruction that gives you an idea of what the structure of the church may have looked like. Part of it still survived, but you also see bits of frescoes, and those are frescoes that survive either in the church, in the remains of the church, or in other institutions that we know came from that church. And so this gives a little bit of a sense of the overlap, for example, this room, fresco decorated with the horror that the person against the window and the house. So the art historical work of this altarpiece, of course, continues. As I say, I very much hope to be able to see it during my lifetime at least, reunited in its entirety. Who knows if more pieces may eventually come out with documents telling us more about what the other figures would have been. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this evening, and I hope you're enjoying your Saint cocktail, and I look forward to seeing you all for another episode of Cocktail with Grace and Surrounding.
Ralph, again, inuuna ko po yung mga naunang mga inside-out characters in both drawings. Well, Kuya BMD, last night nung nagla-live po kayo, I cannot believe na dalawa kayo na naman na SS. Guys, coincidence naman po yung mga nangyari. Ralph, kuya, tapos na-surpresa po ako may mga batang nanonood kay Etch and Sketch 11 years old. Sabi ko pa. Oo, kasi yung style niya nakaka-attract din ng pangbata eh. Medyo may pagka-fantasy. The songs I'm singing, thanks for all.
Good evening. Welcome to this episode of Cocktails with a Curator. I am William Solomon, the Deputy Director and Invitational Chief Curator at the Frick Collection. Thank you for joining us this evening. I would like to start this episode by thanking all the members who are joining us this evening. So much of what we do at the Frick is due to your support, so thank you for joining us. And I would also like to remind everyone that on October 15th of June, member, you will receive an extra 2 months for free. So I hope you will join us and you will come and visit with Madison. We start in the enamel room at 170th Street, and we look at a number of works in this room in the past episodes of Cocktails with a Curator. We look at the Vernon Francesca, and we look at the Veneziano. And today I would like to talk about the painting that you see here on the left, between 2 of the Kieros, and that is now at Frick Madison on the opposite side as part of an coronation of the Virgin. There you see the 2 paintings on each side of the door, leaving the room with coverings on carpets. This is a work from the early 15th century, probably around the 14th, early 14th 20s, and it is one of the very few works of the Frick that still maintains mostly its original frame. Except in a few parts of the frame which were made to replace, the main structure of the frame was pictured original. And at the very bottom, you see a detail here on the right. The frame bears the signature of the artist, Gentile Fabiano. So this is a fine work by a very interesting 15th century Italian painter. And it represents the Virgin Child surrounded by 2 saints. The painting is very beautifully displayed in the main monograph on Gentile Fabiano, which is a book that was published in 1982, and it's the hieroglyphic of Gentile Fabiano. And the author of the volume describes the work and writes very beautifully. Combined with consistent corporeality are the livelier, less poignant expressions of the Virgin and Child, set off by the fervent devotion of saints in the flower of youth. The way the child's attention is diverted by the captive bird, symbol of Christ's passion, is a particularly felicitous idea. No less ingenious is the wall spaces defined by the connected ledge, by arbitrarily cutting off the foreground figure, and by carefully describing the premise of the form. The subtle displacement of the alien in order to treat a foreground again indicates concerns. So this is a wonderful way to look forward at this picture. And this was written in the early 1990s by Keith Christensen, who published the book on the Gila Fabiano and is to this day the main expert in the world on Gentile. Keith Christensen is a friend and colleague of the Metropolitan Museum and the head of the European Paintings Department. And this month he will be retiring from the Met, and therefore I would like to dedicate this episode on Gentile to Keith. I am doing it with him at Cosmopolitan, a very famous cocktail, of course, made out of vodka, triple sec, and cranberry juice, garnished with lemon, a little bit of lemon juice. And of course, Cosmopolitan is a word that implies, as you will see, both in the group but also to keep. Cheers. Gentile Fabiano came, as the name suggests, from the town of Fabriano, a small town in the Marche region, in central eastern Italy. And Gentile grew up and was trained to begin with there, but he actually ended up spending most of his career traveling across the whole of Italy. He was truly a cosmopolitan artist by the standards of 15th century Italy, and he is an artist, a painter who works in Florence and Tuscany, in Venice, in Rome, in Siena, in Orvieto, in a number of cities all over the Italian peninsula. He was born around 1370 and died in 1427. That was really after for the 3 decades, the earliest decades of the 15th century, and we first hear of him in the early 1300s in Venice. Here are some of his works. This is one of his earlier, largest surviving altarpieces. This is the Poliptych of the Maria Unita, which shows at its center the Virgin being crowned. An iconography, as we've discussed before, that was very common in the 14th and 15th century in Italy. And this is now a kind of Nera gallery in Milan. Another work from slightly later, from the 1420s, is at the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, and this is one of the most beautiful Gentile Fabianos in the United States. And again, it shows the coronation of the Virgin. And for those of you who remember the episode on the Padre Iniziano a few weeks ago, it was the same exact iconography, Christ crowning the Virgin, surrounded by making angel and thinking. The Padre Iniziano, which was painted several decades before. You can see how Gentile builds on previous examples, but creating a very, very different scene. A scene that is particularly wonderful because of all these incredible textiles that he shows, the cloth along the background and the outfits of both the Virgin and Christ. This was actually originally part of a double-sided standard that was carried in procession, in religious processions, and the other side of it shows the stigmatization of St. Francis, and this was made for the Protestant Church. This one is now in the monastery of Rocca, outside of Parma, in Italy. The most famous work that survives by Gentile Fabiano is no doubt this grand and wonderful Adoration of the Magi, which is in the Uffizi in Florence, where the rich scene so wonderfully composed with these elegant figures with incredible textiles and details, and details in various metals, gold and silver, but also the extensive use of pastiglia, which is effectively raised gesso that is then gilded and gives a three-dimensional effect to some of the decorations of this extreme altarpiece. At the end of his life, Gentile was a wealthy one, and we know that he was frescoing one of the four basilicas of Rome, St. John of Lateran, walks there in the footsteps of another great artist, Pisanello, the frescoes are finished. Unfortunately, all we have this fresco cycle is a 17th century drawing, which gives us a sense of what the fresco looked like. They were entirely destroyed, unfortunately, in the 17th century when the basilica was extensively refurbished by the architect Borromini. Gentile is one of the great artists of what we today know as the International Gothic. And International Gothic is one of those artist-political terms, which of course was coined in the late 19th century. But it is a helpful term, even though none of the artists obviously living during the end of the 14th and the first half of the 15th century would have identified themselves as being an artist of the International Gothic movement. That is a label the artist formed, praised on these artists later on. But it very effectively describes the artistic currents and exchanges that are happening over this period, as I say, between the end of the 14th and the early 15th century across Europe, starting in Burgundy in France, but reaching England, Prague, Italy. And many artists like Gentile traveled extensively with poetry works, with Rome, Milan, some Venice and Rome, and various cities from areas of Europe. And this will show you the great works of the International Gothic here is the works of Dictate from London. A painting which is still very mysterious actually was painted by an English artist, a French artist, a Brazilian artist, who's an Italian artist, and there'll be a number of evidence suggestions as to who might have painted this. It's quite likely to have been painted by a British artist, but clearly someone who is looking at a number of other artists active all over Europe. So Gentile is part of this part, and he is clearly an international artist, even though starting out in the news, the borders that we have in Minnesota.
Wow, kuya, pero alam niyo po ba, naintindihan ko naman sila. Alam ko na may hilig din sila sa art, pero it will take them more years to go before considering realism and hyperrealism. Or kahit anong style na pwede. Pwede rin naman silang maging impressionist, surrealist, expressionist.
The wonderful detail of the veil over the head of the Virgin, which is that same blue mantle that reversed, showing this darker blue, blackish color with gold polka dots. The child with her arms, and as I mentioned at the quote, the child is distracted by the bird that he is holding on a leash, effectively, and the little bird is a symbol.
Ang maganda kasi sa kanila, sa mga European countries, mataas ang tingin nila sa art, mataas yung value ng profession na artist. Unlike dito sa Philippines, hindi ini-encourage, especially nung time ko, hindi ini-encourage ng mga parents na maging artist yung mga anak nila kasi walang pera, mahal yung kurso, tapos walang pera, walang trabaho ang mga artist dito sa Philippines. Doon sa kanila kasi pangmayaman yung art, bihira lang yung naging artist, tapos mataas ang tingin nila sa artist.
Now, the two sayings that accompany this work are clearly identifiable in part through their attributes in inscriptions at the bottom of the frame, which very handily tells who the two saints are. On the left is Saint Lawrence, and the Latin inscription, of course, with the Entius is the Latin name for Lawrence, they identify him under the saint. Again, we're wearing this extraordinary ecclesiastical vestment, beautifully painted. Remember the vestments, the dresses of the guest coronation of the Virgin. It is really wonderful to see how Gentile is playing with examples of textiles and his paintings. St. Lawrence was a 3rd century early Christian deacon, saint, and martyr, and he was famously put to death to be burned alive on a great iron. And so what we see on the left, just with the edge of the frame, is the metal great iron of Lawrence. And of course, I'm showing you a much later example of the martyrdom of St. Lawrence. This is by the young Bernini, Florence, but this much more visually represents the heroic death as a martyr of Florence and Florence on the river. And this was a sculpture the Florentine patrons of the River. The other side of the right is identified by two symbols, a sword and a palm, which is usually a symbol of martyrdom, and it is identified again by the on the front, Saint Julian, Saint Julianus. And Julian, who you see again the symbol of the sword.
Well, Kuya May, they were also asking how many years have you been drawing? Sabi ko, started drawing since I was a kid.
The story of Julian is a very romantic and tragic story, which of course was first told in the Roman legend of Jacobus Argine, but later taken up by a number of authors and writers, most famously in 1877. Flaubert, the French writer, writes his three tales, one of which was the story of St. Julian. And it is a tragic story which has echoes of classical tragedy and in many ways echoes, to some degree, the story of Oedipus Rex. Julian comes from a wealthy family and he is told by the young man that he will end up killing his parents. And so this prophecy scares him. Julian flees his parents' house, moves far away, marries his wife, and years later he goes up hunting, and upon his return from the hunt, goes back to his house to earn his wife, and finds a woman and a man in his bed, and he assumes they are his wife and a man. Taken by invincible anger, he kills the infamous wife, only to then leave the house and rely on his wife and outside to friends, and his wife tells him that his parents to visit, and he goes tired, and she is given their bed to see them. And so of course the prophecy of Julian killing his parents takes place. Julian at that point abandons his family life and leads a saintly life subsequently. The slight issue with this representation of Julian is that, of course, the sword is a symbol, typical symbol of Julian parents. But the palm of martyrdom does not really apply to Julian the Hospitaller, because Julian was not a saint. So why is he with this? And this really because it may be to do with confusion. Some second St. Julian of Antioch, who is also a saint, the 5th century Christian saint, who was actually a person of St. Julian the Martyr. He was killed by the pagan, so used by he was put in sand for his spoken Bibles after the sea. So it may be that the Julian is somewhat conflating the two things, and we're not entirely sure. Part of the problem with this thinking is that we don't actually know who it was and where it was painted, or what it's up and down for the Florence, those things are increasingly very common saints in Tuscany and Italy, that often venerated by different patrons. So do the name Julian and Florence have something to do with the patronage of the world? Most likely. I will still don't know what that is. The painting first appeared in 1856, so practically in the collection of this time.
Wow, question nga pala, sabi ni Etchens kay sa akin, dapat matapos ko yung inside out drawings ko po para makita ng mga batang niya. Okay.
of the Contestos on view, who's represented here in this portrait by Anne at the foot. She was actually called Louise at the club, and she was actually an assistant of the Contestos on view, knowing this Japan in the collection of his brother. And of course, the story of the Sandi family were great paperwork, and it was also the Duke's wife, the Princess of Tony, who was portrayed by Anne. This is how great portrait. So, the detail of the reads different stories from the collection, and it is extraordinary. Very, this painting belonging to the Bonori and the portrait of his sister ended up in New York on different times, and actually for very different reasons and acquired, as I say, at different times. I hope you will come to Fort Madison, visit us, and look at the Jupiter surrounded by other works from the 14th and 15th century. There you see it with the Francesca's on one side, and of course, later, also central Italy, and many of these connections can be drawn by looking at the pictures and footnotes. Thank you for joining me this evening. I look forward to seeing you next week.
They say... Wow, kasi kuya nung sinabi ko na inside out yung drawing ko, that's where the attention was caught. Oo naman, super hit kasi siya. Mega blockbuster. Just say thank you for the music. I can be divided by your honesty. It's me and by the sun. First time.